Hello everyone, this is Roman here, RomenX, and I decided to do a Let's Play series on the modpack Pathfinder. By the way, that handsome fellow there, that cute little baby, is not me. I was never that cute as a baby, but that's actually my son. Um, but Pathfinder is a really cool game. I guess it is like a different game. Let me just get started creating a world here. We'll call this Pathfinder Let's Play. Real creative name. So we'll get that created. Ever since I was a little kid, I grew up when we were first sending men into space. I avidly followed the Mercury, Gemini, Apollo programs. I remember watching the first men walking on the moon. It was always my dream as a little kid to go out into space. I never got that opportunity. We seemed to kind of lose our momentum after we reached the moon. It would have seemed logical maybe go to Mars or something after that. It may still happen yet in the future. I guess there's work being done on that. So when the opportunity came up to go out into space, I volunteered. Of course, it's only in a game, but it's here I find myself on the USS Pathfinder, and we start out. Oh, I got a book in my hand. Well, check it real quick. It doesn't say "Don't panic" on it, which is good because I forgot my towel.
Some voyages last forever. Some voyages are lost in the sands of time. Some voyages are destroyed when the fabric of reality tears. But other voyages, those voyages go down in history, forever remembered. From the moment the console pings for the first time, to when the first grain of sand from an artificial world is touched by human hands, to when the vast expanses of space-time open up for the user to experience for the first time, these are the voyages that will be remembered. These are the voyages of those aboard the USS Pathfinder and its ethereal quest to understand how our universe thinks and breathes. These are your voyages. It is up to you to make sure they are never lost.
Well, that's an interesting voiceover. Okay, so I've actually played through this pack before. I believe it was released around April of 2015 or so. At least that was not when it was released, but when it reached its release status, I should say. So it's been around for a while. I noticed that not too many people have done any kind of Let's Plays with it. It's, in my opinion, rather unique as mod packs go. I've played a lot of different mod packs, but nothing quite like this one. Basically, as you find yourself, I guess you were in suspended animation, cryogenic suspension, whatever you want, until the ship, the USS Pathfinder, reaches its destination. You are the lone crewman on this ship, and it's bringing us, apparently brought us to a new world to explore. So let's open up this quest book, and you'll see we've got it's a HQM hardcore quest mode book, and we'll have a series of quests that'll walk us through some things. There's an awful lot of things that have changed in this pack. Recipes are extremely modified. It makes very heavy use of the RFtools Dimensions mod, which normally that's something that you probably don't get into the end game if you even play around with it. It generally requires a lot of power and stuff, but it's a core piece of this because that's how we're going to get all these different worlds that we're going to explore. And there's a number of things that have changed. The recipes for making the different parts of it are much simpler, and they don't require any power to maintain the dimension. That's usually a big thing. You need normally you'd need a tremendous amount of power, and I've just never really been at that point where I had that kind of power in any of the mod packs I've played before to actually make use of it. Because if you're off in one of these worlds and you run out of power, the world collapses or disappears, and you wind up dying. And then I'm not sure what happens to you at that point. I've never Never played it before outside of this pack. We have different reputations. Some of the quests will give us these reputations and unlock other quest lines or other series of quests for us to do. And let's see what the first one is. Now, even though it's a hardcore quest mode book, we're not actually in a hardcore mode. In fact, we're actually in peaceful mode in this game. That's the way the game is set up. I haven't added any mods, made any changes to the mod pack. There's a few things I'll get into. Some of the things that make this a bit tougher. Let's open up Voyager first, because that seems like the logical one. We sit aboard the Pathfinder, looking at the stars. Yes, indeed, I am. And we have one quest available for completion. Let's open it up and find the one that's flashing. There's one that's flashing. Little question mark. Dauntless. Quiet hum of the generators awake you with a revelation. Okay. You run to the back of the ship. You're tripping over the teleport pads. It's day 315. I guess the ship travels pretty fast. And I got designation. You can read this at your leisure if you play it. But they want us to go and find some dimlets that are in crates in the back of the ship. And we're going to use these to create our first world. There's an effect none, terrain normal, and material none. We got to go get those three. And we're going to get the RFtools Dimensions manual as a reward. All right, so let's go do that. Now, one of the things that makes this pack really, really challenging, perhaps this is a reason a lot of the YouTubers don't play or do Let's Plays on this pack, is because most of the ones I've seen have just have a really bad time. There's the achievement for opening my inventory. They have a really bad time managing their inventory. And you start out and notice like all your inventory slots here are grayed out. That's because they're disabled. We won't be able to unlock any of these for quite a while. So the only place we can actually put anything is on the hotbar. And it'll be very important. We'll need to make some backpacks or bags in order to have some room to store things. And we're going to have to be very careful about what we carry around with us. We go out mining or whatever. We're going to be very limited on what we can carry. To make matters even more challenging, stack sizes of things are much, much smaller. Like a stack of cobblestone is 16 cobblestone, I believe it is. It's more realistic. The idea of carrying, stack, what do you got, 27 slots plus your hotbar, to carry that many stacks of 64 cobblestone, I mean, it's totally unrealistic. I mean, even carrying stacks of 16 probably is. We have our quest book. I'm going to put that over here because I usually like having it there. We do have some apples. That's good. We've got some food. Now, we do have the Spice of Life mod in here. So after we eat a few times, it's going to kick in. And what will happen is, if you haven't played a pack that had that, that food's not going to provide as much nutrition. It's going to we're going to need to vary up our food. So getting a number of different foods going in the very beginning is going to be really critical. We do have some extra quest books. That's good. I'm going to store them. But that way, if we lose our quest book, we still will have one. All right, so let's take a look at the ship here. Let me just see something really quick. Am I on brightness? Let's turn the brightness up because it looks like a little dark to me. And I'm not sure it'll come through that well in the, yeah, that looks better. It should make things a little bit easier for you guys to see. Now, this ship, there's carpenter blocks in here, so you'll notice carpenter's wedges, carpenter's blocks. Not a super fancy ship. I would have expected maybe some kind of consoles or something here, some decoration. My one complaint about sort of the look and feel of the thing is that, it could be a little bit more. Oh, I guess that's the planet we're going to go to first. We have some, portals looking out into space. We have a bunch of machinery here. We'll get into those in a minute. We do have a strong box here. Oh boy, it's kind of full. Let's collapse all those. Now, let's see, we got a few torches. We have some charcoal, some bread. That's good. We have some food. We have some seeds, so we'll be able to plant. We've got agricraft in here, so we're going to have to plant them on crop sticks. But it also means we can crossbreed, get different crops, and build up the crops so we get higher yields from them. They grow faster. There's a sprinkler system for agricraft you can use. We also can make the watering can from extra utilities, I believe it is. But they gave us one sprinkler head. We have a Stirling generator. That's handy. We need a way to make some power. And I'm just going to stick these extra quest books up here. We have a cactus battle sign. I'm not quite sure why they gave us a sign. I guess we could use it as a weapon, but the only thing to fight would be peaceful animals like pigs and sheep and cows and chickens. So I don't think we're going to have too much to worry about there. Even in the dungeons there, you'll come across spawners, but because we're in peaceful mode, nothing's going to attack us. Now, I suppose if you wanted to, you could switch it into normal mode or whatever, and go and fight things. Kind of not I guess it wasn't the author's intent to make it more about fighting, and it's more about exploring. There's some interesting mod packs in here, which most people have probably never even heard of, much less used. Things like clockworks, and a lot of people probably have never done the dimension stuff. So there's a number of things there that we can play with. But for now, I'm going to leave that. Now, it wants us to check these little crates here. Now, these things are kind of useless, if you ask me. So there's material none. And here's terrain normal. And this is effects none. Okay. So those are the three that it wants us to get. And I believe we can now complete that quest. And yes, indeed, we do have, well, we completed the first part of the test. Now it wants us to create the tabular creation matrix for it. So originally serving as devices to manage virtual realities you would create, the tabular creation matrix can now be reapplied to create these new dimensions. Simply right-click on the matrix to create, to obtain an empty tab. All right, so we haven't done that yet. So just kind of quickly go over what's in here. Let's see, we've got a leadstone energy cell that's pretty full, which is good. That is providing power to all the equipment here. With RF Dimensions, we've got the matter receiver and a transmitter. The transmitter will send you to whatever you've dialed in as your destination. Receiver is when we come back to the ship, that's where we're going to end up. And it looks like we have a dimlet researcher here. We'll get into that one later when the quest comes up. We don't need to worry about that right now. Screen here, but the screen doesn't have anything in it. Tabular creation matrix. This is the thing that we need. This is what's going to give us our empty dimension tab. Come on. Is that or is it this one? Nope, that's the one that creates it. Why are we not getting... hello. Matrix operation successful. Alright, why don't I get one? There's a screen controller. The dialing device. This is what we use to dial out. That's the dimension inscriber. We can use that to create new dimensions. This thing... Oh, I did get some. I got 5. Okay. I'm going to my inventory. I expected to see something. Alright, so... I think we have to complete the quest first. Yes, we completed that, and we're going to get our book. And we also got reputation gain as temporalist. Alright, let's see. Now, if we can look at this book real quick. I'm not going to go through it, but there's a lot of information here about building different dimensions. It's fairly well written. You can also find some tutorials and things online if you want to look. I'm not going to bother reading the book. I've been through this stuff, and it'd be kind of boring just sitting watching me read the book. Now, I don't need all these tabs, so I'm just going to keep one. I'll stick the others in the box here. And let's check what we're supposed to do next. Oops, I keep doing that. Hello. Come on. Open up. There we go. I guess you can't be actually clicking on something. You have to be far enough away, looking up to the sky to click the book. So let's see, we did that one. Let's right click and get out of there, and we'll find the next task that we're supposed to do. We've completed that one. And now we're going to do Yamato. So now for the tricky part. Let's see. In order to create the dimension, you'll need to place your dimlets into the dimension inscriber. It's right over here to the right of us. Place empty dimension tab in the slot, then press the effects in the slot in the top. So we need to make sure we put these in the right order. So actually it wants material none before the terrain normal. Okay, so effect, material, terrain. So we take this tab, we'll put that in here. Effects, material, terrain. Notice I got and notice it says error down here. If I go and look, all right, I'll hover over this. It's actually going to tell me there are dangling modifiers in the description. Oh boy, can't have our modifiers dangling now, can we? And it's okay. So we know this is good now. We can give it a name. Probably not a bad idea. We can always put it in here and rename it later. But I'm going to call this New Earth. And then I'm going to click Store. And you can see this thing now changed. It's got colors on it. These dimlets disappeared from up there. They've all been encoded in here. And we now have a Realized Dimension tab. It's got the name that I gave it. Now if I wanted to change the name, I could just type a new name down here. Basically, it doesn't tell us exactly what's in it, but it tells us we got a terrain, one effect, and one material dimlet. Dimension progress, 0. Now, it will list the creation and maintenance cost here, but that isn't going to cost us anything. As it turns out, the creation device is a creative one. I guess if we built one, to put on one of the planets or something, maybe it would consume power because we wouldn't be able to create a creative one, at least not without going into creative mode. And maintenance costs, we won't have to pay any maintenance costs because the pack is modified. It's just that these descriptions are just the normal descriptions. So let's grab that. That probably completes that quest for us. And it does indeed. And we're going to get a reward bag and some bread and 1 point a reputation machinist. All right, we're not quite done yet. We have to go to the dimension builder. All right, so let's go over to the dimension builder, which is this thing here. And I think that, in fact, we have to be near it. So we visited it, and we get our rewards. So let's claim our rewards. And let's take a look at this reward bag, because I'm curious to see what we get. We got some mini coal. Yes, we have mini coal. We have mini coal and mini charcoal. Nice thing about these is, you take one piece of coal or charcoal, and it turns into 8 of these. Each one of these can smelt one thing in a normal furnace. So you don't have to worry about, trying to, always put multiples of 8 if you're trying to get maximum use out of your coal and your supply is kind of limited. So these, you can put a bunch of these in a furnace. You want to cook just one piece of food or something, it'll just use 1 mini coal, and you get 8 from 1 coal. So it works out to be the same, except you don't have to worry about burning a whole piece of coal for one steak or to smelt one thing. Oh, so here's our device. Now this one here, we just take our tab, I put it in here. Normally, I think this can take quite a while, but it's a creative one, so it basically has done it real quick. It's 100% done, and we can take it out now. Let's just, well, actually, we can leave it in there. We'll leave it in there. It won't really matter, but that way I don't have to carry it. And let's check to see if do we get another quest to. Okay, we didn't complete a quest there. So now it wants us to venture off to this new world we created. Teleportation system used for ship-to-ship transport can help you use to transport you to the dimension you've created. You can think of it just as another planet. Follow my instructions carefully. Open up the interface of the dialing device. Okay, so I'm not going to read all that. I've done this before and I know what it is. So we got to go to the dialing device. That's over here. There's a dialing device. Now you'll see the top is where we are, and we only have one transmitter, but I guess you could have multiple transmitters. I think you could probably use this system. I've never actually tried it. I would assume you could use this to transport from one place to another in the same dimension. If you had more than one transmitter, it probably would show up. We're on the Pathfinder. Now, this just says RFtools Dimension. This is not, there is no overworld. There's no nether, there's no end. There's only these dimensions. And I guess the ship is one of the dimensions. It's the one we started. We just created another dimension. This has an ID of 4. Has the name that we gave it, and the tab that we just created. We select the transmitter that we're leaving from. That's the one we're going to turn on. And we want to go to New Earth. I guess if you had more than one transmitter in a dimension, you'd probably want to give them unique names. I do recommend that as you create new ones down here that you give them new names. This one got a name just because we named the tab for it. But when we get down there, the receiver won't have a name on it. We'll probably want to give it a name. So now we can say dial. Okay, and assuming we have enough power, and as I said, we don't need power for this, but it'll tell you if it was able to dial okay. If there wasn't enough power, if say that capacitor bank was drained, actually I guess we do use power to go there. We have to fire up the transmitter. But we've got that big battery sitting down there that has lots of power in it. At some point we will have to put some sort of power generation if we keep coming back and forth, because it will slowly get drained every time we use it. But we don't necessarily have to come back to the Pathfinder that often. We're going to come back probably to use some of the machines up here when we create other dimensions. But we're going to spend a lot of time down on the planets. So we don't really need a lot of power up here. Unless you decide you want to make this kind of your home base. I guess you would. So if we look over this way, we'll see, oh, there's a beam here. Now, before we leave, okay, we did the dialing device, got the matter transmitter. We're going to go in that in a minute. But I strongly recommend that when you go down, so first of all, we're going to need food, right? So, let's see, we'll take the bread with us. We're going to be careful about what we're bringing, because we only have these slots. We probably will take the charcoal. We'll take this Stirling generator. Let's take some seeds and crop sticks, and I guess we'll take the torches. And we're going to leave all the other stuff here. We don't have much choice. We don't have any room. And I strongly recommend that you use something like the aroma backup, some way of backing up your world before you go into these things. It is possible to mess up, or you might, something could happen. It's just a wise precaution. Also, if you decide to start making any modifications on the ship, because it is floating out in the void, if you break pieces out, they're just going to float away. Actually, they're going to drop down the void, but because they don't really have a true void in that sense, where there's no gravity. But you wind up losing them. And some of these things is like, for example, the first time I played through, I moved a couple of devices around. I thought it made more sense to have the dialing device near the transmitter and receiver, so I swapped that with the other unit on the floor. And as I was taking it out, I wound up punching a hole out through the ship. The thing fell out and it was gone. And it was like, and I was stuck. I had no dialing device, and there wasn't anywhere I could go. So, doing backups, not a bad idea. And if you're using aroma backup, you just say /backup. Boom, starting a backup. Server may lag for a bit. It's especially now we haven't got a very big world. It also automatically backs up every 30 minutes by default. You can change that if you go in the configuration file for it. But that way we know we always have a good point that we can go back to. It basically just copies all the world that we created from the save directory, stores it on the backup. It keeps a certain number of them around. Again, that's configurable, and you can, if you have to, you can just open that zip file, unpack it, replace or rename the original save file that got ruined, and restore, and then you can go back and start from that point. So it's green. That means it's safe to go in. In a normal non-modded pack, RF Dimensions, if that thing was I think it's red or yellow or something, you wouldn't want to go in there because one thing, you'd die. The other thing is the world will start acting funny. I think you get flashing or something if it's starting to run out of power. We don't have to worry about it. There's no maintenance cost. Get in the beam and then don't move. Okay, if you move when you're in the beam, you're going to take damage. You might die. It's going to mess it up. You're going to, so you won't actually port. So let's hope that we get a nice looking world here, and we shall see. Okay. Oh boy, looks like we're out in the water. That's kind of interesting. But the world's loading in. We're on a little platform. This is stained clay. It's a little laggy because it's creating the world. We're standing on top of. Hello. Yes, come on. We have to get our bearings. We have journey map, so we can kind of see around us, which is nice. And my game is kind of frozen for some reason. That's what is going on. Come on. Don't tell me I crashed. Okay. Come on. I don't know. I've never had it lag this much trying to go down to a world. So anyway, there's a number of things in this pack. As I said, storage is important. We do have bagginses, which will allow you to make bags. The bags are made out of cloth, and then there's an upgrade for it. And I think it basically the tier 2 bag is the same size as your inventory. And you can have multiple bags. You can't put bags within the bags. But there's also the knapsack from Tinker's Construct, which is in here. And one of the nice things about that is you can actually stick that in your, well, let me show. Hello. Come on. Hello. Basically, you can, there are some slots that Tinker's gives you that you can have there's a belt like the Sojourner's belt, which isn't a bad thing to have. It makes you move a lot faster. And there's boots with a jump boost, I believe. The backpack goes in a backpack slot. And nice thing about that, not taking up an inventory slot. Got to be thinking about inventory slots all the time. Okay, I didn't want to see that. There we go. And journey map still got to fill in. There we go. So let's see what we got here. Well, we're kind of, looks like we're right at the edge of the river here. Probably not too bad. It means we got water. We can get some farming going real easily. We've got, looks like cows and some chickens, I believe. Let's zoom in a little bit. I guess those are chickens. And horses over here? Looks like horses. And a bunch of squid, so we can get ink sacks. We see maybe part of a ravine or something here. That might be a place to go look, do some mining. We've got pockets of sand. That'll be important. Looks like we got some lava here. This is probably one of those funny little places that it looks like a meteor or something hit there. There's soul sand, there's obsidian, there's usually a few ores, copper and iron, and a bit of lava. That'll be really handy because we'll need that for Tinker's Construct. So all in all, not too bad. This funny little thing, I don't know if this is supposed to be like some kind of mining thing or something. We'll explore that at some point. No idea what this is. Probably the top of another one that went up in the ground. Ooh, looks like there's a house right here too. I haven't seen that yet. And there's some other structures here. This is kind of like a graveyard or something. And this one here, there'll be a chest there. We might get a couple of dimlets or something. There's usually a redstone torch there. There's iron grates and stuff, iron bars around the cemetery. We can always raid that if we want to. Most of these houses, these big long houses like that, really don't have anything useful in them. I think the most useful thing I ever got out of one of those was some torches, actually. But it is close by. I suppose we could potentially use that as a home. We can get out of the rain. We've got a couple of glowstones here. Here's our receiver. Now I'm going to, okay, we already got the name, New Earth. That's good. So I don't have to name it. You can see it really, it's down a little bit of power, but we did bring that generator with us, which is good. Let's go check this house real quick, because it is dark, not a whole lot we can do. And as I suspected, it's rather empty. We could use it as a home, though. Now, we can make a bed, but we won't actually be able to do anything with it. Our spawn point will be where we came in at the portal. Probably should put a marker down, waypoint down. I'll do that when we go back outside. And we're going to have to get started here. First thing, obviously, go punch some trees. What else? And at least we got some light and stuff. And we'll get some tinker tables, and we'll be able to get going here. So, did I claim? I haven't claimed this reward yet. So we got some cooked fish, got 2 more reward bags, and I probably don't have any room for it. I probably shouldn't have taken it yet, because I think it might have, yeah, it did. It dropped on the ground. Alright, so let's get some wood real quick. Is there a tree nearby? Oh, wow, that's all lit up over there. Let's see. Cow. No, it's a horse. Yeah, it is a horse. I really don't want to start breaking a house down. I was hoping there's a tree real close by. As you can see, we have hardcore darkness. It is dark. Dark is dark. But I think I see some trees over this way. I hate using up my torches, but you know what? I need to be able to see. And that's going to be lava there. Oh, come on. Tell me there's a tree nearby. Oh, sorry, Mr. Horse. I didn't mean to stick that up your bum. Come on. Tree. We need a tree. We're going to be out of torches real soon. Whoa, looks like a really big ravine. Okay, we're not going that way. Good thing I put that other torch down, because I could have gone right off the edge there. And more holes here. This is not so good. Well, I guess I came pretty close to falling down one of those holes too. And dying right now is not something I want to do. I don't see any trees. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think I fell in a hole. I did. I'm lucky I didn't die. There's one of our torches. There's no trees in the immediate area. This is going to be tough. And we've got all these big holes in the ground, which is really nasty. Whoa. Okay, this is a bit challenging. This is what I was talking about. We got some lava flowing in here. You can see there's some ore. All we need now is get some tools. We're going to have to use Tinker's tools. This vanilla tools are there, but they have a durability of 1. So you're going to mine 1 or 2 things, and that'll be the end of it. So, well, let's see. Actually, if I can get there without dying, let me. I'll just rely on. Okay, should be right about here. Come on, where are you? Are you here? Yes. There should be a structure right out here. Let me, we're real close. Okay, this way a little bit. It looks like we're safe. I'm just thinking I can Let me hit this thing in the dark, grab some wood. There we go, spruce wood. Alright. Oak planks. Let's see how much we can get. I gotta get back and get that reward bag before I lose it. It sounds like I'm breaking a lot of wood. Let's see, how much do we get? A couple more. We only have 3 planks. Oh, where's the rest of it? There's wood too. More planks? There we go, planks. Aha. Wooden slab, that's not going to do us any good. Big planks. We're going to need enough to make a chest and a table, so. It's lightning, good. It's getting light. We need the light. So that was kind of foolish on my part to open that chest, I guess. Or take that reward, because I didn't have room for it. That's what I mean about be real careful with how you manage your inventory. Alright, 14 wood, we're going to get back. Hopefully those bags haven't gone away. Alright. Where's the house? I didn't put my beacon there, but there's our thing, so I'm going to go this way. Let's hurry up. I don't usually sprint, because that will use up food faster, but I want to get back there while I can. And I hope that our stuff is still sitting on the ground there. Now, maybe I should have dropped the bread. That would have probably made some sense. In fact, I will do that. Oh, tell me it despawned. Oh well. Anyway, let's get this set up. Make ourselves a crafting table. Always turn it toward the tinker ones. I'm going to drop the bread for a moment. Let's put this down real quick. I'll just put it right here. And I can open that up. Now I can make us a chest to put some things in. One anyway. I'll grab this bread. I'll throw some stuff in here. I'll throw the apples in there as well. Let me just check. It's a shame. I think they're probably despawned because we got too far away too. But so be it. And there's trees right over there. Of course, I didn't see those. All right, so this is probably where I'm going to stop this video. I don't want it to go too long. I'll probably start working on another one. I'm going to make punch down some of this wood. Let's see. Oh, we'll do the spruce tree. It'll be easier. It won't be as tall. And I will see you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And appreciate likes and comments. If people are interested, I'll keep doing it. I think this is a great mod pack. It's certainly a real challenge. And it's got some interesting mods to play with. And until next time, this has been RomenX, and ta-ta.